So from where we started last week, um, I think I showed you guys the outline that we're going to be covering. So the outline is this, which we've done almost like 75% before some of us joined, but we're trying to go through everything we did. So we did relational database concepts last week, like a summary. We did retrieving data with the select statement, like a summary. But what we are here to do, and also we also did logical operators, the operators that we have in SQL. We did that also last week. The equal to, the not equal to, the in operator, the wildcard, which looks like percentage, but you don't call it percentage, so that you will be able to get that job. Percentage is wildcard. And when you use a wildcard, you use it with a like function, which we explained last week. We talked about data types. We talked about the data definition language that we have in SQL. We talked about so many things, which I believe we are still able to remember. Yeah. And so tonight, we'll continue with that. And hopefully in 30 minutes, we'll be able to complete the summary. Then we'll start with a new thing entirely. So we're doing this summary just because basically for those of us who are just joining. Hope you can still see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is where we'll start again tonight. This is where we'll start again tonight. So I'll go to my SQL, I said my SQL, the SQL server. And I hope if you can see, let me know. Can you see my SQL server?
No.
No, right?
Okay.
Okay. Let me do it again. Can you see it now?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so we did all of this, which I'm not going to go through again. And I hope, I mentioned last week that whatever you get from any training, depends on whatever you're able to put into it, not whatever you are taught. Yeah, it depends on whatever you're able to put into it. So we did all of this. If you have not been able to go through it, you might struggle to understand what we want to do today. But yeah, we did all of this like a summary, just to bring us to speed last week, right? And I hope we all can still remember this, all of this. I hope so, because we can't be doing it again and again. I think where did we stop? We stopped at wildcard. Is that so? We stopped at wildcard. Where is wildcard? We did equal to, yeah. I did wildcard. Where is wildcard? Okay, yeah, I did is no, yeah. We stopped at wildcard. This is where we stopped, right? This is where we stopped.
Yes.
We stopped at wildcard. And I remember this was where we stopped last week, this particular one up here. Yeah, so let's continue. I'll try and make this hopefully we'll be able to do it in 30 minutes, hopefully, or 40 minutes. So let me just finish up with this, with the wildcard. I said wildcard is used to search when a partial string is known. When a partial string is known. And that is why we use the word like it looks like this. So in this case, we are selecting all of these, which we did last week, from a table called dim customer. If you want to get that, you expand your databases, expand AdventureWorks DW for those of us who have downloaded, expand tables, then we go to dim customer. Where is dim customer? Dim customer. This is dim customer. We expand the columns for dim customer. We are able to get that, right? And so I just gave an example here that where first name is like, looks like this. So anytime you see, of course, we said when you use like, there will be an open quote and a closing quote. A wildcard at the end means you don't know what ends the name, but anything can end it. Now, when you now use a square bracket, the closed one and the open one, and you put some string in between. These strings you are putting in between this square bracket is saying first name starts with H, or first name starts with U, or first name starts with G, or first name starts with D, or first name starts with R, right? So any first name that starts with any of these alphabets, it will display the result. That's why you have to put them in a square bracket. So because this database dim customer is from AdventureWorks DW, you will change it here to the database where the table is coming from. So you change it here. So by the time that's why in front, I told us about comment last week. I put a comment here that first name starts with H or U or G or H. This is what I just explained here, just right now. And percentage at the end means anything can end it, means anything. So if you highlight this, make sure you highlight everything and you execute the query, you will get a result where for all the first name you are seeing, they start with all the first name you are seeing. They start with either H or U or G or D or R. That is why you have to put them in. That is why you have to put them in a square bracket. Hope that makes sense. Now, so if you write the same thing that we have up here, and you write that same thing down here, the same thing, but we now added this sign here. This sign means not. That's why I put in front. This means not when it comes to wildcard. So it means first name does not start with H, does not start with U, does not start with G, does not start with D, does not start with R. It can end with anything, but it does not start with any of this. That is why you put this sign in front. And remember, it's in a square bracket, and everything is inside an open quote and a closed quote. Anytime you have a like, whatever you want to put must be inside an open quote or a closed quote. And whatever you now put inside that open close or closed quote depend on what you want to do. So this one means not. That's why I put it here, that this means not. So name does not start with H or G or whatever. So when you now execute this, you see that your first name column does not start with this first name column. Does not start. You can't see any name that starts with H or U or G or D or R in this first name column. It's not possible. Does that make sense? Any question before we move on, before we continue? Okay, there's no
Oh, I
question.
have a question, please.
Okay.
So for this wide card, so does that mean we can use the not equal to that we learned last week, which is equal to
No,
and
no,
the other side?
no,
Okay.
no. That one is a logical operator. Yeah, depending on whatever you want to do. Yeah, you can use everything as its own specified standard or rule that you need to use. You can't use not equal to whatever is not possible.
All right. Thank you.
Any other question? Because we are leaving white card now, we're going to something else, which we've done before anyway.
Please, I have a question.
Okay.
I've not joined previously, but I noticed that each time you're trying to write the is it code or what do you call it? I notice you have like an hyphen and the comment. Could you leave that? Would that not error when you're trying to pass the query?
Anytime, anything you put in front, is it in front now? Anytime you
Yes,
have a double
yes,
iPhone, and
yes.
anything you put in front of it will not be executed. So even if I light everything like this, it doesn't affect the query.
Right. Okay.
I,
Thank you.
I only did that so that whenever you are reading it, you know that this thing highlighted in blue, which I put here in quotes, means not, N-O-T.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right. Thank you.
thank you. Any other question before we go move on? Because we're leaving white card. Okay, let's move on. Order by means is like you want to arrange some in order of ascending order or descending order. It's just an English word. You know what order means. Order by arrange this thing in a ascending order, arrange it in descending order. Yeah, if it's in ascending order, that means if it's string, it starts from A, B, C, D. If it's in ascending order of integer, it starts from 1, 2, 3. And if it's descending order, it starts from the highest to the lowest, ascending from the lowest to the highest. If it's alphabetical from A and it's ascending from A to Z, if it's descending from alphabetical, it starts from Z down to A. Does that make sense? Yeah, so when you order by, now, I want to see, you want to know who ends the highest, you want to see customer who earns the highest salary showing first in your query. For example, maybe you are doing the customer analysis segmentation and you want to know your customer, KYC. So you want to know those whose yearly income, is a bit big. So you want to see the yearly income. You want to see the details of the customer ordered by the yearly income, so that you know which customer earns better money, stuff like that. So if you go to this same thing, customer, this is a customer table. So I selected customer key. We've done all of this last week. I merge first name and last name column together. As is an alias, I renamed the column as customer full name. Selected, I don't even need first name again, to be honest. So let me add the first name out. Okay. Let me just leave it. I don't need it, but let me just do it. So we picked first name, we picked yearly income, we picked birth date, gender from this table. Of course, we know what for. Who can tell me what this means? This means first name like this, so that I will know that everything we've been doing last week it sticks. Who can tell me what this means? In a minute, please, somebody.
All the first name that has ELI in it, in any order.
In any order, thank you. So, and I said order by yearly income. Now, order by yearly income means you want all of this to be arranged based on yearly income. You want all of this, all this column that you choose or that you chose to be arranged based on whose yearly income is biggest to the lowest. So if you want to spell descending in English, you spell it like this. This is descending in English, right? Descending. But in SQL, if you want to write descending, you just pick the first. Just if you know how to spell very well, it's very simple. You just pick the first 4 alphabet. That is descending in SQL. Does that make sense? So you are saying arrange all of this based on the yearly income of what the customer earned. Yearly income is also a column in this table. Dim customer. This is yearly income. Yeah. So the customer you will see first is the one that earns the highest salary. Descending order. In descending order. If you want it in ascending order, let me copy. Ctrl C. Let me do paste here. If you want it in ascending, let me comment this out because we now have 2 order by. If you want it to be in ascending order, all you need to do is just, ascending is, if in English, I think this is ascending, right? So if you want to use ascending in SQL, you don't need to write it in full. Just for descending, you take the first 4 letters. For ascending, you take the first 3 letters, right? ASC, which means ascending order. So all this query, all this column will be arranged based on the customer who earns the least salary down to the one who earns the highest salary. So if you select all of the Mosun, you want to say something?
Good evening. Yeah, I wanted to say something. As I'm writing the prompt, the way you're writing it, as I'm writing my query, the way you're writing it, everything is underlined with red. So am I
Are
doing
you
something
in
wrong?
the right database?
Adventure Works 2022.
This one is not 20. This is DW. Do you have DW?
Yeah, Adventure Works DW 2022.
Okay.
Because when you said when we're installing, we should install the most recent or something.
Yeah, that doesn't matter anyway. Check it very well. There's something missing in your query.
So everything I'm writing seems to be underlined. I put customer name is underlined with red. Everything.
Check the syntax. What separates columns is comma. Separate columns is comma. And when you are choosing the last column, you don't put a comma there.
Did you space it? You picked the customer key from the under the columns, right? And that's what exactly I did. I picked the customer key and first name, all this thing. They're all underlined with red.
Check it very well.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only thing I will say. If you look at it very well, there's something, or you can run it first. Let's see if it give you error. You look at the
Okay.
error, and from that,
I'll
if you look
run
at
the
the
first line and see what it will come up with.
okay. So
Thank you.
if you check everything, all these columns now, they are arranged in based on the yearly income in ascending order from lowest to highest. Now, by default, please listen to this. By default, if you don't put anything, it will arrange this entire query based on whatever you put here in ascending order. Even if you don't put ASC, it will still do it in ascending order by default. By default. So if you say you will still get the same answer. Yeah, you still get the same thing. By default, it will arrange it in ascending order by default. Hope that makes sense. So it is not a must that you put ASC. If you like, put it. If you don't like, put it. So far, you want to do it in ascending. But if it's in descending, you must put descending to make it in descending order. That's that for order by. Any question before we go to something else? Okay, let's move on. Now, this is an aspect of SQL where you see it being used anywhere, almost everywhere you see it being used, almost everywhere. You call it aggregate function. There's hardly any query you will see that you don't see aggregate function there in SQL, because it's if you don't use it, you might be scanning the old database. You might be scanning the old database, so it's good to know how to use aggregate function. When somebody asks you what is an aggregate function means a function that takes multiple inputs to produce an output. Multiple. Look at this word, multiple. A lot of inputs to produce an output means one output. Multiple inputs to take an output. For example, let's do a bit of mathematics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If someone should ask you, what is the maximum of all these numbers? The maximum number is what? 5, right? That means, what's the highest number? That means you have scanned all these inputs. That means multiple inputs. What's the multiple input in this case? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you have produced an output, one output. What's that output? 5. This whole thing has produced only one result. That is aggregate function. You aggregate, you take multiple to produce an output. If you are to get the minimum of all this, the minimum of all this is what? 1. You have take multiple inputs to produce an output. What is the output? 1. Multiple, produce 1. If you're asked what's the count? Count means, let me change this number so that you won't be deceived by just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You take multiple outputs, and the answer to this question, count, is 5. It gives you one multiple input, one output. If you are told to do the average is 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 3, 9, 9 plus 6, 15, 15 plus 5, 20, 20 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 20 divided by 5. 20 divided by 5, that will give you what? 4. That means you've taken multiple input to produce an output. 4, 1. That is just all about aggregate function. Any question? I know that one is simple mathematics. Now, there is a table. There is a table called sales order detail. The way you name a table depends on what is underneath that table. So all the order placed, the details of all those order. If you order something from Tommy Hilfiger, right? Or Tommy they will have a table. They might give it any name, but let's assume the name of the table is sales order details, sales order detail. So whatever order is placed or was placed will go into this table, or sales order of sales, or the order of sales, their detail. That is the meaning of sales order detail. Like I said, wherever you work, you need to understand your database. So let me open that table for you to see. AdventureWorks 2019, the one without DW. Sales order, this sales order detail. Sales, if you expand the columns, you have product ID, sales order detail ID, order quantity, unit price, unit price discount. There's a difference between unit price. There's always a discount on every products according to this table. Line total means the sales amount, means unit price times order quantity. That means if there's a product that costs £5 and somebody bought 5 or ordered 5 of that product, that means 5 of that product multiplied by unit price, £5, that is £25 in total. That's simple mathematics, right? That is what this line total means, which is same thing as revenue, sales times, unit price times quantity, right? Hope that makes sense. So if I want to calculate, if you have any question, please stop me. If I want to calculate the maximum sales, anytime if you notice all these functions, they have open and close parentheses, open and close parentheses in their form. So whatever you put inside, they will work with whatever inside. So now, if I should ask you, give me the maximum sales. I didn't say okay, let me say calculate the highest sales amount that we made. Highest sales amount. Highest sales means maximum sales. So I will say select. What is sales? In this place, sales means line total or revenue. It means line total from this table because I've been using it for a while, so I understand what line total means. It means revenue, right? So if you now say select maximum, you put maximum of what? Line total, which is the sales amount, which is what we are to calculate. So I renamed this column as maximum sales. And I say from sales order detail. Where are you picking it from? From this table, sales order detail. So if you run this query, what do you get? You get, what's the problem? Okay, I'm no more in that database. If you run this query, you get the maximum sales. This is the maximum sales amount. And as of all the sales that was made, this is the highest sales. This is the sales. This is the maximum sales that you have in your store or in your organization. Any question before we move on, please?
Sorry, please, why do you change the Adventure Works to 2019?
This table, sales order detail, is from this database that I just changed it to. So any table you pick, you have to run it against the database that table is coming from. Does that make sense?
Okay, so it means, just as you normally say, we need to understand our database from our organization.
100%. That work is not going to be done by anybody. It's going to be done by you.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you do, I can hear you. It's a bit low. Can you increase your volume, please?
That better.
Is that? Hello. Okay, I think we should continue. Just like we did maximum sales, we just do minimum. Just change maximum to minimum. So I want to ask, what is the minimum? Using this simple example for now. Minimum sales is 1.34. That is the minimum sales we have. Average sales, change the minimum whatever here to average. Average is AVG. AVG. Remember, sales line total represents sales. So if you run this one too, it gives you the average sales. That's 905.44. Now, let's now do count. Counting something is, you want to know the number, right? You want to know the number. So I now said, let's do a simple calculation. How many products do you have in your store? So for each product, if you have, I'll put it now. if you have 5 products, product A, product B, product C, product D. These are the products or the item you sell in your store, right? They are just 5. But the quantity of A could be 50. The quantity of B could be 100, 400. The quantity of C could be 50, whatever amount. The quantity of D could be 2, whatever, 4,321 in number. So that is what this thing is asking us to do, is that for every product you have in your store, how many quantity do you have? Does that make sense? So this is what this question is asking you to do. Does that make sense? This is what this question is asking you to do. Oh, that makes sense. So count, just like this AVG, just like maximum, just like minimum. Count means count. Go to product ID, count it. Each product ID, count it. Yeah? Count it as what? As product. We name it as product. I now say comma. I now use count again. Count. Then inside the whatever, say count. Who can tell me what asterisk means in SQL? With all. So that asterisk means count all. So I'm saying count each product ID. We name it to products, comma. This is first column. This, comma. Count again everything. Count everything means I've deleted those things. Let me bring that back. Count each product ID. That means A, B, C, D. And I say count all. Count all now means for each of A, how many quantity do you have? Put it in front. For each of B, how many quantity do you have? Put it in front. For each of C, how many quantity do you have? Put it in front. For each of D, how many quantity do you have? Put it in front. That's why I say count all as product count. So if you execute, let me delete this. This one is just an explanation. If you execute this, can you see? I need to do a group by. Okay, don't worry. I need to do a group by to make it work. Okay, let me delete this. I need to do a group by to make it work. Let me delete this. And there shouldn't be a comma there. So all the number of products that you have, they are 504, right? Then let's continue. Then this one will now explain what I was saying the other time. How many for each of the product A, how many do you have? So you want to count each of the products, how many quantity was sold. It's possible for a product, let's say you have 100 of that product in your store. It's possible that for a particular day, you didn't sell more than 2 out of 100. So you want to know how much did you sell today, or for 1 month, or for the past year. Of course, we didn't use dates. Yeah, so let's forget about dates now. I'm just saying how many of each product was sold and what sales generated. This will take us to group by clause. Now, group by clause means you are grouped by category. Gender is category, male and female, right? Marital status, single, married, divorced, separated, they are categories. Which one again? I want to remember the type of category that we have. No, categorical variable. So I can't tell you. Someone is talking. What did you say? I can't hear you, to be honest. So gender, male or female, is a category. Um, what category? Let's say, if you go to next, or if you go to a place like, let me see if I can open a next. Somebody is just entering and coming out of the room. Let me see if I can open, so that I will explain more of what to mean by category. Can you see my Chrome? Can you see my Chrome? Chrome browser. Hello.
No, 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 no.
No.
Why are you not seeing this? Why is it always showing something else? Am I not showing the right screen? Don't know why it's like this. Can you see my Chrome browser? If you go to next, right? Next, and you want to purchase something or you want to order something, can you now, right? Can you see it?
Yes.
Now, if you check men, this thing is a, if you check men, can you see the category of what you have? Clothing, suits, and tailoring. These are category. Footwear is a category. They've categorized each product under their category. So clothing, coats, jackets, jeans, joggers, jumpers, they are under category clothing. Suits and tailoring, black suit, blue suit, gray suit, they are under the category suits and tailoring. Footwear, all footwear, boots, shoes, trainers, all these are products, but they're under the category footwear. Accessories, all accessories products, bags, belt products, cufflinks, they are under the category accessories. Underwear and nightwear and pajamas products, socks, underwear, they're all products under this category, underwear and nightwear. Do you understand that? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
That is category. That is what you call category. That is what you call category. Let's continue. That is what you call category, right? Hope you can see my SQL Server again. That's what you call category. So anytime you do a group by clause, you want to group by a categorical variable. And let me say some of this, but these are things we need to know. We need to have a keep it on your left hand. That's what people used to say. Keep it on your left hand. What are those things? Anytime you want to use a group by clause, you use a group by clause anytime you have a sum. Now, if there's no product ID, there's no need to use a group by clause. If I execute this query and I say sum line total count product count, I can just let me run this. I don't need a group by clause in this scenario. Why? Because there is no, every column that we have, line total or count, whatever, they have an aggregate function beside them. But if there is any column, let me bring this one back. If there's any column that is standing alone and doesn't have a group by, it doesn't have an aggregate function, sum, count, minimum, average, minimum, maximum beside it, then you must use a group by. If I don't use a group by, if I should take out this group by and run this query, it will give you an error. You know why? The reason is because anytime you use a group, anytime you use an aggregate function, in this case, there is sum and there is count. Anytime in any query that you use an aggregate function, and there is another column or columns. Yeah, remember I said column or columns, either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 columns that doesn't have aggregate function beside them in that query where you have aggregate function. You must group by that column that doesn't have the aggregate function. In this case, the only column, or sometimes it could be columns, but in this case, the only column that doesn't have aggregate function is product ID. And because it doesn't have aggregate function, you must group by that column that doesn't have aggregate function. That is grouped by product. That means you take this product ID and bring it down here. Why? Because there are aggregate function here and product ID doesn't have aggregate function. So you must take that column that doesn't have aggregate function and put it in the group by clause. Does that make sense? So if you run this query now, what this query is doing is saying for products 782, a particular product called 782, the sales that was generated is 44,000 whatever, and the number of products that was sold, the quantity of that product that was sold that gave you these sales is 1,250 products. Product 782. For product 783, the sales generated from that product is 4,094.94 dot whatever in sales, and the quantity, which means the number of product 783, if you count how many of them was sold, product 783 is 8,177. Does that make sense? So if you have plenty columns here, let's say column SS, column RR, column, comma, column TT, comma, because all these column SS, double R, TT does not have aggregate function, sum, or count, or minimum, or maximum, or average beside them, then you must group, you must take all of them and put them in the group by clause. All of this column, this, and this, that doesn't have a group by, that doesn't have an aggregate function, you must put all of them in the group by clause. But in this case, of course, I'm just using that as an I'm just using that as an explanation. So they are not, I'm just forming them. Oh, any question, please? Like I said, you'll be seeing a lot of queries if you work with SQL. You cannot escape all this thing. You cannot escape it. All this stuff, you can't escape it. Do you understand before we continue? Everybody is quiet. That means you guys understand what I've been saying. Nice. So you want to see your product performance, the product that you sell in your organization or in your store or on your site. You want to see the performance of those products. You want to see the performance of those products that you sell in your organization. Now, so from your own, maybe from your boss or from whoever that asks to do the product sales performance, right? The person now said, any sales, let's say you have a benchmark, and the benchmark is every product that you sell or that has been purchased from your store. If the sales of that product is not up to the average, then that product is not performing. So any sales that is more than the average sales, that is a product that is performing. Does that make sense? Now, for you to understand that question, you say, okay, that means you need to know the products. You need to calculate the sales of all the products. You don't just start writing query. You need to understand, okay, I need to know all these products. Where can I get them? Okay, maybe from the product table. Okay, I need to know the sales of all these products. Where can I get them? You can get them from the sales table. And I say, okay, all the products that we have sold in the last 1 month, any product sold that is more than the average, that product is performing. But any product sold that is less than the average, the product is not performing. So for example, if the average sales is £3,000, so any product sales or any product sold in your organization whose total number or total amount is less than this average, then that product is not performing. Does that make sense? So how do you get the average sales? We did that very simple. This average sales. For you to start, you need to know the table where to get all this information. But I know where to get it because we are using a demo table, a demo database, a demo data, stuff like that, right? So the first question is, all product sales more than the average sales. What is the average sales? Get the average sales. You need to know this is the sales line total from this, where is it? From this sales order detail. There's a column, I think I've mentioned this like 10 times today, line total. So the average sales, you get average sales by saying select average sales. We name it as average sales from sales.sales order detail. So if you do this, this will give us the average sales. This is the average sales. Let me copy it out. Control C, Control V. Yeah. So this is the average sales, and this yielded these results. This as the average sales. That means I've solved average sales. Does that make sense? I've solved what? Average sales. Does that make sense? So I want to see all product sales that are more than the average. What is the average? This, which is the same thing as this. So all products that has been sold that is more than this, they are the products that we are looking for in this scenario, which is the product performing. Hope this is making sense. Yeah. So I've done this, which is this, which this, whatever I gave to us. So all product sales, very simple. Just pick the product ID. If it calculates all products sales, which function will you use? Is it count or sum or minimum or maximum or whatever? Which one will you use?
Sum.
Sum. Thank you. Sum. Sum. So I said sum this line total. Forget this now, please. Forget all of this for now. Let me comment. I don't want to confuse you guys with this. Let me comment this out first. So this is the product ID. I'm picking from sales order detail table. This is the product ID, right? Sum the sales that we have. Rename all of this as product. You can, if you rename this thing as your name, it will appear as your name. But why should I name it my name? Is my name product sales? No. So what I'm doing is, this is product sales, so I rename it product sales, right? Where am I picking this thing from? I'm picking it from sales order detail table. Remember, this is what we want to do. So this will give me products sales, all products sold, sales of all products, right? Hello, does that make sense? This will give me all products sales. More than means average. Sorry, more than means greater than. What is more than? All product sales. What is product sales? Line total. So I will say all product sales, which is this. What is sales? Line total. So I will say where sales, line total, more than, greater than average sales. What is average sales? This. So I'll just copy all of this and paste it here. Open a bracket and close it. Put it here. So you are saying all of this is the average sales, which is this. More than, greater than, sales. So this is the average sales, which is then as this. So it's saying copy this number and paste it here. So if you run it, all the products that you see, what's this now? Okay, because I've commented that one out. So if you run this, so all the products that you are seeing, all the sales, this, if you check this column, all these sales, they are more than this number. Do you understand? Any question before we continue, please?
I don't really understand.
Who is that?
Me too. I don't understand. Yes.
What is it that I don't understand? Tell me what you don't understand there. Are you guys just joining us today?
No,
Hello,
but
please let's.
I think we missed this class, this particular one. So I understand up until understand getting this average, but then the next step to find all sales more than the average, product sales more than the average is where I got confused.
Okay, the other person that said she doesn't understand. What is it that you don't understand? Hello, somebody else said she doesn't understand. What is it that you don't understand? I thought two people spoke. Anyway, let's continue. Average sales. Everybody is quiet. Average sales. This is average sales. This gives me, like I said, you need to understand your database. You need to understand your database. What is the average sales? This scenario. Average sales is this. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Yes.
That's average sales. All product sales. This is all product sales. Do you understand this? Hello.
It's understood.
Yes.
But there was something that was in between this product
No.
cells. There was one green
Leave that one on. Leave that one out
okay,
now,
I
please.
think that was really confused. Okay, it's now understood. Yep.
Do you understand this one in blue also? Yes, right? So this
Yes.
is all product sales. This is all product sales. We have answered that one, right? This is average sales. This is average sales, right? Settled. Now, the bits, this average sales that I highlighted, the result was this, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm saying all these product sales, which is this, that is more than, greater than this, the average sales is what I'm looking for. Yes or no?
Yes.
So what is a sales? Now, I was waiting for somebody to ask me, why didn't I put some, why didn't I put, because all total sales should have been sum of line total. Why didn't I copy this? I was thinking that is what you guys would have said. You don't understand. Why didn't I copy this and put it here? Because this is total sales. Why didn't I copy that and put it there? I will not, because it is like when you call something a taboo or whatever, like call it, you do not, for any reason, use an aggregate function in a where clause in SQL. You don't do that. But you guys did not ask me. So you don't do that. You don't use an aggregate function. The only thing you could do is you just bring that thing that gave you the total sales, line total. That's number one. So all product sales is line total. Greater than, more than means greater than. Now, if I pick this out, let me just try and take this out first. Cut it. More than, you understand that one. Sorry, more than is greater than. What is average sales? This, right? So that means we are saying greater than 905.449206. That's what you are saying, right? Hello, do you understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you understand
Yes.
that? Yes. But what gave us this? What gave us this? Is it
The
not
above.
this? The above. So
Mm.
instead of writing this, which is here, I'll just copy the above and put it there, because that was what gave me this guy, the average sales. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So this open and close brackets, the reason why you put an open and close bracket is because this is not just a string. This is another select query. So you have to put it in a close, open a bracket and close, because it's another select query itself. You have to put it. So this average sales, this was what gave us that amount. So instead of writing that amount, you put it there like this. I remember I didn't get a particular job because I didn't do this thing. This thing I showed you now. I didn't get a particular job during that interview because I could not do this. That was like over almost 3 years ago now, over 2 years ago now, because I could not do this. So do you understand the concept now? Do you now understand?
Yes.
People that didn't
Yes.
understand before.
Yes.
Now, who can tell me why did I use a group by
Because of the aggregate function, the sum.
the sum
Because it doesn't have aggregate function.
beside it? This group by this product type doesn't have, so that's why I had to use group by. Thank you. So if I now run it and I execute it, do you now understand? Now, for people to know what this guy is, people, they don't know. If I were the one seeing this result, I would have said, I'm not sure what you did was correct. How am I so sure that all these sales are more than the average when I don't know the average? So what is the average? Show me the average. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I should ask you, how am I so sure that all these product ID are more than the average? I need to know the average. So show me the average. So I will just say, okay, let me add another column to this. I'll say comma, enter. What gave me the average? Is it not this? Is it not this one that gave me the average? Right?
Yes. Yes.
So I want to see the average, because you can't just bring this stuff to me and tell me all these sales are more than them. What is the average sales? So I'll say Control C, put a comma here, create another column, Control V. So I will rename, because it's another select clause, I'll put it in a bracket, open bracket, and a close bracket. I'll now say as average sales. Do you understand what I am doing, please? So if I run this query, can you see the average sales? Now I can see, okay, what it will be the same thing all through, because that's the average sales. So I can now confirm that, okay, if I'm your boss, I can now say, okay, truly, all the product sales you are showing me, they are more than the average, because I can now see what the average figure is, or the average amount is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Any question? Any question?
Sorry, I've got one.
So,
Why, if you go back up, why do you have to repeat as average sales like 2 times in the select line?
this is a column. You have to give it a name. This, no, I'm not repeating. I'm not repeating. Okay, I understand what you're saying. This is a select query itself inside another select query. This is, let me take this out. Cut. Remove the comma. You gave me this analysis, right? And you are telling me as your boss that all these products, these are their sales. And you are telling me these sales of all these products, they are more than the average sales. How am I sure that you are correct? How am I sure that you are just making up stuff? Because I don't know the average sales. If you are showing me that these sales of this product are more than the average sales, what is the average sales? Show me. Let me see it in the query. What will give you the average sales? Put a comma. Let me just write it out. Put a comma here. In the next line, that means I want to show my boss the average sales. So I will say select AVG is average. Open a bracket, because it's a function takes an open bracket and a close bracket. What's the line total? What's the sales? This sales, right? All this function, they take one argument. I explained what arguments mean last week. So I will say, where am I picking the average from? From where? This table. Now, because this is like a column on its own to show the average sales, but it's another select query by itself. For it to be in a real proper column, you have to put it in a open bracket and close bracket, because it is a column. So because all of this is a column, all of this will give you average sales. It is a column on its own. So I will say as average sales. All of this will only give you just one number, which is the average sales. So if you run it now, this column average sales is as a result of what you have here. I understand what you are saying, but I don't know how best to explain it more than that. Do you understand what I've done now?
Yes, I do. I actually do. I was just wondering why we have to do it like twice. Thank you. I do understand this. Thanks.
Any
Sorry,
question?
can I just come in? I understand as well, but I just have a question. I just want you to help me
Okay.
distinguish that. So I know that you said put it in a bracket because it's a
Another
column on
select
its
query.
own.
No, because
Yeah,
because another select query on its own.
because it's a select query on its own. Okay, because I thought you said it's a column on its own, and I know
Of
columns
course,
are usually by a comma.
it is a column. This is a column. But this
Okay,
column was formed by a
a
select
select.
clause, a select query
Absolutely.
on its own.
Okay, but I noticed that there's no comma at the end of it. Is it because it's the last one now?
Yes, it's the last one. Yes.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay. Adesola, I saw your who is
Okay,
Adesola?
sir. Yeah, my question is, does that mean we can have two select statements in one query? Like
If we
if you
can
want to
now,
have two select, the other one must be in a bracket.
depending on what you are doing, you can have 5, 10, 11 select query inside each other. That is an advanced SQL. That is subquery. You call that one subquery. Yes, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, as many as possible inside one query. And everything is just one query. But that is an advanced SQL, depending on whatever you are doing and depending on how you want to do it. You can do it in a different way by using a CTE, yeah, we're not going to do because those are a bit up 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 idea. They are simple, but you need to understand some of this stuff before you can go into that. There are different, there could be 1 or 2 or 3 ways to solve a particular question, depending on whichever one you are comfortable with. I will not use a subquery. I'll use another way doing it. I'll make it a bit simple. But you can have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as many select inside select. Have I answered your question?
Yeah. So in this case, if you don't put this one in a bracket, the second one here,
It won't
say,
work. This one,
okay,
Abby.
yeah.
Let's try it now. It will never work. If it works, I'll be surprised. That means there's a new law in SQL. It won't work.
All right. Okay.
It will not
Okay.
work because
All right.
this is another select inside another select clause. So you have to put a bracket
All right.
because it's like a query on its own. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other question? This was a classwork I gave those who started with us in December. And I will give it, I won't give you guys because the answer is already there. It is a classwork. Let me delete all of this. This is a classwork. I said, write a query to retrieve all products with washer and doesn't have color. This is the answer to that query. Please go on. I'm not sure the answer is not A. The answer is not A. This was the question I gave you that somebody was saying, the question that says, somebody asked at the beginning, before we started, this is the answer to that question you were asking. Abby, yeah, is it? No, it's not. It's not. It's not the question. Then I also gave this question. I won't explain it. This is a question. It's good when you study on your own, you get to understand better. By the time you rack something, you do something is not working, you check it. If a query is not working, there's something you are not doing well. Check it. This question, this is the result. I think so.
A bit. I missed the question.
Your this thing is breaking. What did you say? Hello.
I said, could you scroll up a bit? I missed the question, the question. Can you hear me?
Which question?
Hello?
Hello, which question?
Hello? The
Hello.
classwork, what I said classwork. I was trying to write it down to check it later.
No, it's in. I've sent this thing to you guys. It was in the mail that I sent, so it's there. If you
Sorry, how
open
do we
that,
access it?
Okay.
I've
Sorry.
sent this to our email several times. Yeah.
Sorry, today is my first time, so I'm not sure. Is there anything I need to do to be able to access this?
Please send your email to Kemi on this. There's somebody named Kemi. So look for Kemi on this Zoom call and send your email to her. She'll forward it to you. Send to Kemi, only Kemi, not everyone. Any other question?
All right,
So I won't
thanks.
explain all of this because it's like taking us back and back and back and back. So go and study hard on this. You will get to understand it. Because next week we are starting something new entirely. But all these things we have done in the past since December, which I'm trying to recap again, will play a lot. Okay, let me quickly explain this so that I will not have to do it again. Oops. Go and do all of this anyway. I think I did this. Was it last week? Date name? I don't know. I can't remember now. So let me quickly explain this before we go. All these are classwork. Please familiarize us. Don't bother about this. If you want to know much further, how to manipulate string manipulation, you can read all of this. But we are not going to do this because all these are intermediate and advanced. Basically, yeah, an advanced SQL. I talked about null functions. Null, which I said something about last week, is not a value. I think I explained something like that last week. It's a state. Now, null functions in SQL, there are so many, but we have two major ones. Null if and it is null. The way you speak English is null. Null if. Now, is null takes two arguments. I think I explained that a lot to last week. When you say two arguments, it takes one argument, second argument. These two arguments could be another function on its own. You could write something, select another thing on its own to make it, depending on whatever you are doing. Yeah, but in this case, we are just using simple arguments. So far, it is only one command that you have, separating them. So you have one argument, second argument. So select is saying, say select. It's null. It's saying, go to this middle name, go to this middle name, column. This is a column, comma. Anywhere you see a null, because if you select this, where is person.person? This is a table called person.person table. Where is that table? Person.person. Where is it? I can't find it. This is person.person table. Yeah. See the column there. These are all the columns on that person.person table. So if you select everything under, let's check it. Before you start writing query, before you start building a house, you must understand the house you want to build. You must get a quantity surveyor and an architect, whatever. So you don't just start building. You need to understand your database. I've said that several times. So if you need to see what that table entails or contains, select everything from person.person first, execute. You will see that middle name column has some name that doesn't have middle name. Can you see? It shows null. So you don't want to see null. I'm just making an example there, a funny example. So anywhere is null means scan through this middle name column, which was what I put here. Scan through it. Anywhere you find a null, N-U-L-L, anywhere that it is null, anywhere you find a null under this middle name column, replace it with rice, with the word rice. Rice must be in quotes. You don't put rice like this. If you're putting rice like this without a quote, you are saying rice is a column. It's not a column. You are the one forming the rice yourself. So you must put it in a quote, open and a close quotes. So you are saying, if you scan through this middle name column, in this case, this middle name here, anywhere you see null, replace it with rice. So if I execute this, what's that? Why is it giving me error? Okay, from person.person, sorry. I didn't copy it very well. So from so we're having too many stuff there. All this we've done it is just, can you see that? I said select middle name, this middle name. So I'm just showing you, can you see everywhere that you have no, it has replaced it with rice. No. Now rice. No. Anywhere you have no, it does not show as rice, rice, rice. No, rice. Does that make sense? So if you put beans to show up, if you put orange, if you put apple, whatever you put there, anywhere it finds no, replace it with whichever string you put here. Does that make sense?
I have a question, please.
Okay.
You know the from person to person. I'm just curious as to why it doesn't have the DBO and the is it box bracket? I mean, what do they call that type of bracket? You know, under is yeah, that one where you
don't I've said whatever the database gives you, just take it like that. Don't bother either it as now
oh, you dragged it.
yeah, I dragged it. Now it's having, if you type PB and it doesn't show, it doesn't matter. Don't bother yourself about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Have I answered the question?
Yes.
Then lastly, I want to show you another is no. Now, I'm saying go to no, I won't treat this one. No. I don't want to go beyond 10:30. Let me leave that out. So any question? I could have said anywhere you see null in the middle name, let me just do this for the last time, then we end the class because it's almost 10:30 already. Control C. Let me do another one to show you you can comma, you can manipulate as anyhow that you want. Anywhere you see a null in the middle name, I want you to replace it with what? Replace it with let me just use a funny stuff. Replace it with first name. Anywhere you see null, scan this column. If you see null there, replace it with the value in the first name. So if I pick first name so that you'll be sure that what we are doing is correct. First name column, yeah, comma. If you run it, you can see that this is first name. If you check Kim as a first name, it has a null in the middle name. If you now check the results, let me check this one to customer whatever made. Let me change it to customer made. There's no time to be. If you check, this is Kim, this is null. If you check this first name, this middle name null here, by the time you scroll down, it has been changed to Kim. Kim, because we said middle name null replaced with the first name. Middle name null, yeah, it has been replaced with Sam in this place. Does that make sense? Any question? That's the end of our class. Any question? Next week, we are starting something different. Of course, it's still SQL, which is what we call case web. Case, because I just revision for everybody so that we can bring everybody up to speed with whatever we have done before. So we are doing case when statement. You can't escape this in SQL. You cannot escape it, except you are not interested. You can't escape it. It's not to scare anybody. Anything you are, either you're a project manager or a product owner, or a business data analyst, or a data scientist, that you need SQL, you cannot escape all of these things.
Please, I have a question. This the one you just explained on green above person. It's no
This
middle
one,
name. Yes.
no, leave this one. I don't want to explain that because it will take us a minute again.
Oh, it's
If
okay.
you understand, it's fine. But I don't want to. So what I was trying to do here is, if you go to middle name and you find a null value there, sorry, a null in that middle name, replace that null with the first alphabet, the first letter, the first thing. So if you run this, sorry, I didn't put comma here. There should be comma here, and there should be no comma here, but this is the last column that I've chosen. If you check here, it's null. If you trace it down, it has been replaced with K. K is the first letter of the first name, Kim. But I won't explain more than that because it's intermediate. So if not, there will be so many questions again. That was what I did there.
Okay.
Null if function, please go and study it. No, if I teach you for 1 year, you can't get anything out unless you sit down yourself to do it. That's when it sticks. That's the end of the class. Any question, please? So next class, 9 p.m. next week, but we are starting from case when. Go and read all of it. I asked how many of us read through all of this. Only one person or two. But yeah, that's the way it works. So, any question?
No. Is it case what?
Case when. Case.
Case when. Oh,
C-A.
all right.
Case.
Yes.
When. Case. Case. C-A-S-E. Then when.